Welcome to Just in Time PD. My name is Jeanette Campbell, and I am a secondary academic technology coach. Everyone has a coach in NISD. We partner with teachers to craft student-centered learning experiences using research-based instructional practices with student success in mind. Today, I want to show you a tool that turns Google Slides into interactive lessons with real-time check-ins and just-in-time data. Let's get started with Pear Deck. So Pear Deck is actually an add-on in Google Slides. So if you're not familiar with that, they're really easy to use. So in a Google Slide, you would come to add-ons and you would click Get Add-ons. If Pear Deck doesn't show up, you would search for it and then you would click and you would install Pear Deck. So pause this video and get Pear Deck installed, and I'll see you back in just a minute. Now that you have the Pear Deck add-on, you'll go to Add-ons, click on Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, and open. You'll see it open up here on the right-hand panel, and this is what you're going to need to add that interactive piece to an already existing Google slideshow, or you can start a brand new one and start creating with Pear Deck. I love Pear Deck because it is easy to use. It's very similar to Nearpod, but it has a robust template library that I really like because teachers can easily edit what's in the template library and make it their own. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to open a Google slideshow that maybe you already have. You're going to present in the near future, or just start a new slideshow so that you can practice as we learn. Pause the video and I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to be showing you the student view off and on during this presentation so that you can see what your students will be looking at. It looks very different from what you're seeing. So we'll go back and forth between this Google slideshow and then the actual Pear Deck presentation that I have started. I've already started a lesson, and then the student view of that lesson. So let's get started on these interactive slides. Here is an interactive slide. Just want to know, how do you want to use Pear Deck? So got some choices here. I can tell that this is going to be a draggable. It's a drag the icon, and it's a line. It's a sliding line. So let's go ahead and go and look at the presentation, the teacher presentation, and then the student. So here's my presentation. I already started it, and student has joined it. So I'm going to move it along here. There's the slideshow. Here's our first interaction. So I'm going to see what the student is doing. Here's my student, and this is what my student sees. So they're able to drag this icon wherever they'd like to answer my questions. The draggables are very popular. Easy for students to give you some quick information for you to either check in on them, check for understanding, that am I able to go on? Do they understand? So that's what the student would see. We're back to our actual Google slideshow because I wanted to show you that this is actually a template. I got it from the template library here that we're going to go look at in just a few minutes. And I just changed it. I came in here and I clicked here and I typed in, what do you want to know about Pear Deck? I came over here, I changed these, and then it was mine and I could use it. It was ready, set, already ready to go. Okay, let's look at another interactive. So here's my slideshow. I'm going to move it along, and this is what I'm going to the student, and this is what the student sees. didn't move it along far enough. Okay, this is what the student sees. Now, how are you feeling right now? They can drag this icon wherever they'd like, and then you kind of getting an idea of where the students are at. Maybe you can't tell. Maybe they're on a Zoom with you and they don't have their camera on, so you can't see that facial expression. So they can kind of tell you where they're at. And once again, I'm going to go back to my Google slideshow that I created just to show you that this is a template from this template library over here that we're going to go look at in just a few minutes. And I just came in, I changed the question, and I changed what the answer choices would be, but then everything else was set up. You'll notice that in the notes of each Pear Deck slide, there's this information, and that's the interactive piece, is all this information. So you would never go into those notes to change anything. If you want to change it, you would actually change it on the actual slide, because this tells Pear Deck what to do. So it's a Google slideshow. You're presenting through Pear Deck, and Pear Deck runs that interactive piece. Let's look at one more. Just another one that kind of shows now you can do some kind of ratings. This one's going to have 3 draggables that the students. So the 3 topics, the 7 being the best, is the Pear Deck templates. I think you're going to love them. I think you're going to give them a 7. Immersive reader on slides, another really great one. And easy for students to join. And we're going to go over that too. Yes, it's easy for students to join. Once again, this was in the template library, already created, already ready to go with the icons and that interactive piece. I came over here and I changed the title, I changed the question, and then I changed the answer choices. So pretty easy to use. Now I want to show you a part of the template library that is called the beginning, during, and at the end of a lesson. And I really love these because they're very spot on. There's not much you're going to have to change. Of course, whatever question you'd like, but some of the questions are really spot on. The graphics are there. You can use them. So let me move my presentation along and have a student answer some of my questions. So here's my presentation. And I'm going to move it along. That was the rating one. And showing. So this is what the student will see. Here is the student view. This is a question with a text response. So that's the type of question. So the student can type their response here. Think of a question your classmates might have. Why is it so hard to find a topic to write about? It is hard. So that's what the student thinking right off the top of their heads. So I'm going to go back to my teacher view of it. I see that I have one response. I can click on show responses in the moment, and I can see that this is what someone has answered. This is the list view. I could also see it here. So these are quick check-ins just to get a pulse of the class. I'm going to move my slideshow along so we can see other kinds of interactive pieces for students. So this is my teacher presentation, and I use this to move the slides along. Now I'm going to take a quick check over here with my student. And this is a template for the middle of the class. And this is a draw, but you can also use text, but giving students maybe an opportunity to draw, have the choice of drawing or typing. So students have pen colors, they have pens, and they have different colors. So what do you picture when you think about an amazing class? So I really feel like it's pretty heartwarming, and maybe it's got a lot of sunshine. Students can also use it, text box and they could write. What would be amazing? Very welcoming. So let's go take a look. I'm going to now look at the teacher side to see what my students, I see I have a response, I can see the response. And once again, I have list, I have grid, so I can see several, and I can start looking at student responses. I'm going to hide the responses and I'm going to move along. This is at the end of a lesson. And this is from the templates library, but it really fits. This is what we want kids to do at the end of a lesson, connect it to themselves, to their own life. So let's go look at the student, what the student sees and is able to do. The student, once again, this is a draw or text slide, so they could draw or they could write. Something I wanted to show you about the student, they have immersive reader. So down here in the right hand corner, they can use immersive reader on every slide. It's available for every slide. So when you click immersive reader and you say play it, it will read what's on the slide. So it will read what's on the slide to them. And then they can choose to, here they can choose to draw, or they can use the text box also, text to share. Okay, let's get back to our Google slideshow because I wanted to show you a couple of other things. So those were the beginning, the during the lesson, and the end of lesson. Really great. They also have a section for social emotional learning. So some really good graphics that are kind of fun and easy to just change, like right here regarding whatever topic. You put your topic in there, and this, you can tell, will be write a response. That's the type of question it is. Once again, with Pear Deck, having all of this down in the notes and creating that interactive piece. Okay, let's go take a look at that template library. So it's right here on the first screen. I want to show you this screen. You can also use any of these types of questions. These are ask student a question, and we'll look at that in a little bit too, where you can create your own very easily, asking a question. But the template library is what I want to focus on right now. So let's take a look at the template library. So here are what I was talking about. Here's some beginning of lessons. So some bell ringers, how to get started. As you come in and get settled, follow these instructions. So you can just say, that's what I want you to do. You click on it and it becomes part of your slideshow. That's how easy it is to use these templates. So I really like that. And I'm going to come in here and change what I want them to do. That's all I would have to do to this template. I'm going to go back. So beginning of lesson, there's also during lesson activities. And you can tell in the library what the type of question it is. This is a text. This is a multiple choice. This one's a draggable that we looked at. I used this one earlier. Here's a drawing slide, a draggable. So you know exactly how the students are going to interact with it. Let's go back. So beginning, middle, and end. We looked at an end one. Exit tickets, super important exit tickets. So in 1 minute, write the most important thing from today's lesson. Almost wouldn't need to change that. That's kind of what we ask kids to do. So once again, here it is in the template library. I click on it and it's going to show up over here in my Google slide, show ready to go, part of the presentation. I can change some words in here, but if it works, you can leave it like that. You can tell it's going to be a write your response. So the kids are going to have that box to type in like we saw earlier. So it's ready to go. Some other categories, critical thinking. I really, really like some of those things, making connections, point of view. So getting kids to reflect on their learning, really think about what it is that connects to their life, or problem solving, all these critical thinking skills we can use with them daily. Social emotional learning, we talked a little bit about that, which I know we're all really concerned about. So check what kind of stress they're having. And then after you've checked in with the students, then I need to go back and check on, so and so, because they did put a really sad face and I need to just talk to them individually. So I like these SEL check-ins. There's also some really great templates that are particular to math. So they already have everything ready for. So you have some shapes here, maybe a graph, number line. They've already started the process for you. It's about the same in science. So what you might use, some graphics you would use in science, already ready for you. You don't have to go look for a graphic and then change it. Social studies also, fact and opinion, cause and effect. So I love these also. World languages, ELA, Venn diagram. There's even a correct this sentence, like daily world language. Editing. So they're set up for you. They're ready. All you do is click on them and then they become part of your Google slide, and Pear Deck handles that interactive piece. You can create your own slides and add the interactive piece by asking a question, using these Ask Students a Question. This is what I did here. So my question is, choose one Pear Deck feature that you want to start using tomorrow, and contact your academic technology coach. They'd be happy to show you how to get started. So it is a little confusing because you don't see that there are answer choices here. Remember, they're down in the notes. We're not going to do anything in this section. So, but it is there. So when you're using one of these, you'll need to insert your own slide, ask the question, and then add this interactive piece. That's how I created that. You're not seeing these answer choices. They're down here. So let's look at how to make your own slide. You're going to come up to your slide and you're going to add a new slide because you need to put a slide in it. The template library put the whole thing over there for you. But in order for you to create your own question, you need to add a slide. So let's say we're going to ask a question. Let's say maybe what month does summer start? There's our question. In order for us to get that interactive piece, we're going to come over here and we're going to ask a question. So I'll click on, I want it to be a multiple choice. So I'm going to ask a multiple choice question. I click on that. Then it opens up the box for me to give the choices. So then I type in my choices. I'm going to say May, June, or July. Those are my choices. I could add more. Now I'm going to update this slide. It'll take a little time. Your question is still here. Now the interactive piece is added down here. And it's all set, ready to go. Pear Deck has created that interactive piece. I wanted to show you that you can also change a template. You don't have to keep it the way it is. So this is a template from earlier where it was a rating and it had these 3 icons. But I don't really want those just 3 colorful dots. I want something else. So here is the slide. It's a draggable question. Pear Deck created it for me, so I didn't choose it, but that is what it is. Drag the icon. So I'm going to come over here to Pear Deck. while I'm on this slide, and I'm going to click draggable. And that's going to give me the opportunity to edit that slide, the draggable part. So you can change colors, you can change the icons. So that's what I'm going to change. I want to have a star. I'm going to keep the colors the same, but I'm going to change it to the star. So we did see earlier the line. There's several icons that you can choose from. So now I'm going to update the slide, and now the students will have stars to drag rather than the dots. So that is how you can change even a template, especially the draggable part. When you have your slideshow ready, the interactive pieces that you want, the content that you want, then you're ready to start the lesson. You're going to come over to this right panel of Pear Deck, and the Start Lesson button is right here. So when you click on this Start Lesson button, and I've put it in the slideshow for you, you're going to be asked, I'll click so it can open up. You're going to be asked, do you want it to be student-paced or instructor-paced? And for what we're talking about today, those quick check-ins, those can I move on? Did they get it? The data, I can look at the real-time data. That's instructor-paced. That's when you can be in the power zone. You pick up your device and you're out there with the students. So you're either using your device to see their answers, maybe you're behind them and you can see them interacting. Those answers are between you and the student. So you won't have it projected on the screen. All the students will see it on their device. You can project if you wanted to show an example. If a student wanted to show an example, you certainly could. But this instructor pace will put you in the power zone, have you push the activity along at your pace, and checking for understanding to see if you can go on, see what pieces are missing. Do they know what an antagonist is, protagonist? Well, maybe I need to go over that a little bit more. So instructor pace is what you would choose. And then you're given a code. And it's very easy because you click on this, give students a link. When you click on that, it copies a link. And all the students have to do is open up a tab and paste that link. So it takes them right to the presentation. Just like my student right here, that's all this student did earlier was put that here. And it put him in that presentation. So just pasted that. I like to, if you're on a Zoom, you could give the students the link in a chat. You could put the link in Schoology and they could get right to it. So it's really easy for the students to navigate to that Pear Deck presentation and follow along and answer the questions that you have for them. Something else I wanted to show you in Pear Deck the features of it, what's great about it. Here's some ranking kind of questions. This is a draggable, but it can change some of those, what students feel like are boring, just content, into interactive conversations. So students are talking to you and they're also talking to each other. You can get them talking to each other by looking at their answers and discussing it. It could be a formative assessment, definitely checking in. Can I move on? Did they get that? It ups student engagement in real, because you can check in real time. What I like too is the teacher doesn't forget to ask quality questions. We were always taught that. Be sure to put them in your lesson plans. You may forget to ask them, but this way they're there. They're in there, those quality thinking questions. And if you have a question that you want the students to spend more time on, you could put it at the very end of the presentation and give them that, just leave it open and give them that extra time to think and write or create, whatever it might be. So you just leave the presentation open, let them continue. And this way, every student does have a voice and a chance to participate. That's what's great about it. I have some resources for you. The first one is a quick video. It's just kind of the same as what I've just went over, but quickly. Here's a link to what's called Pear Deck Orchard, and I'm going to click on it real quick just so you can get an idea. It does show all of the templates so that you can see them in one place rather than looking at them in the small right-hand panel. So you can click and look at all of them. You can see all of the templates. I also like this Newsella Daily Decks that you can click and add to your presentation, and also these weekly wonders. You click and add it to your presentation. Pause this video and check out some of these resources. Just a few more resources for you that are specific to a content area. So here's some for history, ELA, math. Also, Pear Deck can embed a website, so you can embed Desmos or Edpuzzle into a Pear Deck. So you would use the Ask a Question website here, and it would actually just put the website right on the slide for the students to, let's see, if you want them to read from that website, if you want them to do an activity like on Desmos, they have straight access to that website. So I really, really like that. I wanted to mention that the multiple choice, not too worried about gradable things, but if you wanted to know more about that, definitely we could help you with that. Just reach out to your academic technology coach. I really like Pear Deck for those quick check-ins and for the interaction. So once again, engaging our students, checking in with them, and then getting that data just in time.